Hello and welcome to day 12 of 21 Days of Presence. I'm Adrienne Elise. Today we're really feeling this grand fixed cross, and it has an energy, a few things going on. We're also feeling Mercury. Remember, the sun and the moon had come into an opposition with Neptune during this last new moon. Now Mercury is in Virgo, coming into this opposition with Neptune. Mercury is our day-to-day understanding and our conceptual reality. So opposite Neptune represents pretty much the opposite. It can be our delusions and fantasies, but also our spiritual connection. So there's a lot of energy right now for realizations coming through. And we've talked about this also with Saturn trining up with Uranus. And this makes me think of the energy around timelines. And a lot of people talk about timelines, but what does this really mean? And I'm not exactly sure, but the energy, we take our time, which is actually a circle, and we split it up. We take it and put it like on a ruler and cut it up into pieces. This is how we track our progress and our evolution as humans, and meet up with people, right? And all that, and keep in tune with the rhythms of the earth. But really, time is more cyclical and more of like a concentric circles rather than straight lines. And so actually, when we're talking about timelines, we're talking about dimensional realities, I guess. But there's an energy that really resonates with me, that what happened throughout this recent history of these last 100 years was that the timelines were very interrupted and messed with. And you have to understand that higher dimensional energies that have been kind of farming us, or watching over us or controlling us have time travel. So they can kind of go back and get us in another lifetime and then catch us in this next lifetime. And, so you have to understand that these, we are, part of what is the definition of this human experience right now is that we only have access to this one consciousness in our conscious mind, our waking day consciousness. But we actually can access other parts of our reality and experiences on other levels, and that's what's going on. And a lot of people are feeling like pulled in all directions, going back in time, stuck in, maybe that we've talked about those traumatic lifetimes, and all of a sudden you're back in that torture or whatever happened to you, and you don't know why, and you don't know what it is. Something triggers it. Now, this is the thing, because I spend my life, part of the intuitive sessions I do is past life readings. And so we're looking at lifetimes, and, inevitably the lifetime that shows up is going to be a parallel experience to what's happening right now. And it's like, there's this whole other story going on that we don't have access to, but this is changing. We're getting more and more aware and conscious of these other parts of ourselves. And with your intention and with your connection to your higher self, you can bring in these other parts of yourselves and integrate into 3D reality. And that's a big part of what the indigo souls and the light worker souls, crystal seeds, are going through right now, is trying to, they're only partially incarnated, right? And so it's like they've only been able to, because of these past traumas, bring, or because they're so big, and the earth energies haven't been appropriate yet. So it's almost like there's a big part of them that's kind of waiting in stasis, or hanging in the wings, or stuck in these other dimensional frequencies. And now it's time, right? And these souls, a lot of them have been kind of just barely on the planet, barely making it, barely able to deal with 3D reality. And now it's time. It's like, no, we got to be right here. This is all we have access to in our consciousness. So this is where we need to work from. That has a lot of energy to do with Uranus in moving into Taurus. Now it's retrograde and it's going to go back into Aries, but it's still in Taurus right now, making a beautiful trine with Saturn in Capricorn. And this is a very harmonious energy, and it speaks to this information, just like this clarity over these next few days, okay? With Mercury opposite Neptune, it's like, whoa, coming out of some delusions in your life, coming into realizations, coming into maybe some things making sense of what happened over this last 4 months of crazy retrograde season. And so pay attention to the information, pay attention to the synchronicities, to the messages coming through right now. Again, it's just such a crucial time to be as present as you can. That is the key to everything right now. As these timelines are shifting and changing, we have one time, right? Like we know the past and the future are basically delusions. And so we have one time that we can actually live in. And, this is actually why a lot of things get really tough sometimes. It's giving us an opportunity to come back into that moment and just be right here. Just be right here. And that is also allows us to connect with our higher self and say, hey, I'm here, I'm listening. I know that so there's a part of me that sees the bigger picture, that knows the truth, that knows that this is a beautiful experience, even though I might be feeling really off and like, I just want to get out of here. But that's what this is all about. It's bringing us back to the now. And this grand fixed cross has a lot of energy to it around timeline adjustment. It's like kicking into place, right? And so basically there's a story that that resonates with me, is that key events over these last 50 and a little bit longer, maybe 100 years, but key events specifically in these last 50 years, 60 years, people getting killed and detonation of nuclear weapons are examples that disrupted our timelines, okay? So it's almost like we landed in this life a little bit skewed. We couldn't quite find the runway, and that makes a lot of sense for these indigo light worker souls that are kind of partially incarnated. And what happens when these lights fully come to the planet, right? That is a very different world. And that's what's happening. And so that's what we're being present for. And every day, every child that's being born right now pretty much is a totally pure child, maybe hasn't even come to this evolution before, right? Has connections with the parents from ancient evolutions, be it pre-Earth or, but maybe early evolutions on Earth. But there's just this purity of soul and spirit in these new children being born, coming to the planet, and we're just holding space. It's like little adjustments here with this Jupiter sextile Pluto. It's like some more pure beings come incarnated into as children, and then it helps the indigos incarnate a little bit more. They can incarnate a little bit more, then the crystals can incarnate a little bit more, and then more of these pure souls can be born on the planet. This is what's bringing this wave of light in the consciousness shift. It's us being present with who we really are. That is the new timeline. But we all have our individual timelines. We have a collective timeline, and then we have our individual timeline. And so a really great energy is about tapping into our optimal timeline. And that, that has to do with bringing back in these parts of ourselves that haven't been able to fully be present on planet Earth because the energies have not been quite right. And so this Grand Cross really speaks to this, because what is it? It's Mars now direct in Aquarius, okay? It's just taken a retrograde, gone into crazy places in our psyche. And so now and then opposite that is the North Node of the Moon. That's about our future karma, where we're going in Leo. It's about shining our light and bringing forward our individual gifts and fully being present with our creative self. This is a great energy for today because it's a 12-day, and 1 and 2 add up in numerology to 3, which is creation and creating something new out of the ingredients of something before. And so that's really what we're doing. And so we've got this, like, how do we move forward into this new age? We've got to shine our individual light. And then we have Mars is ready to roll now. Mars is back in Aquarius. It's not out of shadow yet. It won't happen until next month, but it's in Aquarius. It's going direct. It's like, okay, let's go somewhere. Let's do something, right? So it's like the wheel is turning again. We are landing. We're coming into our more optimal timeline. And then the other parts of the Grand Cross is Uranus there in Taurus, bringing us these messages of how do we spiritualize this physical plane? How do we land this new vibration. You know, spirituality up until recent times has been about going out there and journeying and going to the cosmos and all that, right? And now it's like, we're here to bring the spirit down. We have to land here. We have to ground out. We have to incarnate. We have to spiritualize and be that pillar between the earth and the cosmos. And Uranus moving into Taurus represents that, because it's an earth sign, and it's about bringing those cosmic energies here and being the portal of that, being the vortex, being the pillar of light between heaven and earth. And then on the other side of the square, we've got Venus just moving into Scorpio. And wow, do we have an internal journey ahead of us in the next few months with this Venus retrograde in Scorpio, looking at our value system, our self-worth, and the shadows around that. And where have we not been able to allow ourselves this incarnation, allow ourselves to feel safe on planet Earth, to feel like we deserve to be here? Because there's a lot of stories and targeting that says, we don't really want you guys here. We don't want that pure light, because that's what brings the consciousness change. And that puts the control energies out of business. And so they've been kind of keeping us in a prison from the spiritual evolution for far too long. And so this is what's changing. And that's why it's really glitchy and really weird. But it's time right now to be present with this shifting timelines and put that intention out there for this peace in your heart, for this present moment, that connection to your higher self who knows your optimal timeline. And just imagining that landing and being ready for that, and know you deserve it. You know, if you've had a life where you've had, situations, difficult situations, traumas throughout your life, and then all of a sudden a new timeline is going to land where things are going to be helpful and supportive and give you what you need to do your work here, you're going to probably not trust it, and you'll probably reject it. So that's that Venus retrograde in Scorpio. We got to know that, and deep inside our heart, like who we really are as a spirit, as this cosmic love. And of course we deserve our optimal timeline, and let's get to it, right? So let's just take a minute to be right here in this cosmic fixed cross, this landing of these new timelines, and just take a few deep breaths and feel yourself arrive. Just imagine there is this cross in time, this crossroads, this new beginning, and let's just go to the crossroads. Go find that spark of light we've been working with, the kernel of the truth of who you are. Going into still point, into your heart. Taking a few deep breaths. And just imagine you're right there in your heart with this optimal timeline that's trying to land. And these things go out in all directions, but you're at the center, at the crossroads. You're there ready to receive the people, the support, the opportunities, the information that can help you incarnate and land here fully on planet Earth. And just imagine that you're right there, and now that cross has become a star. And just go ahead and feel yourself in your heart, the star that you are. Receive an energetic wave. Just activate, cleanse, heal, harmonize, and release that heart chakra area, activation of the 5th dimensional heart, this cosmic love that you remember that you are right here, right now. And just imagine this is kind of hovering above the earth, and it's descending, and it's descending, and it's descending, and you have to go through some really mucky astral plane stuff, and you're confused, just like, well, maybe this isn't the right planet, maybe this isn't the right timeline, but you just descending and letting yourself release and relax and be received by Mother Earth. And it's almost like putting a pin in and just go ahead and feel yourself just land and arrive right here on this planet, this living, breathing Mother Earth, Goddess Gaia. She's so beautiful. She's so activated right now. And she's so honored to have you do this work with her. And just feel the base of your spine just kind of like sink into Mother Earth as you land this optimal timeline. And go ahead and just be here, right here in this complete surrender to your higher self, the kernel of the star that you are here on planet Earth, showing up and Feel Mother Earth receive you. Just cutting away all root chakras, cords, and plugs and hooks that are the old programming that says it's not safe to be a light worker on planet Earth. Just cut that all away with your magic sword and sink into the earth and feel yourself arrive as the star that you are, and just be completely present with this love in your heart, this optimal timeline unfolding in front of you on this beautiful journey with Mother Earth, Goddess Gaia, and your soul team. Just relaxing and releasing. And just enjoy this presence in this moment. The spark of light. This future potential awakening on the planet and in your heart. Just take a few deep breaths, breathing with Mother Earth, Gaia, and your soul team, reminding each other that you're here together, wherever you are. Go ahead and just enjoy this peace and this presence at the crossroads of your future, in communion with Mother Earth and your higher self, for as long as you would like. And remembering you can visit this place throughout the day when things get weird or hard. Come back to this moment. Oh yeah, that's what's going on. And you can send that out like an energetic wave to your soul team too, because we all need all the support we can get right now. Just living right here, right now, fully present on planet Earth. And just enjoying this peace and this presence. And when you're ready, go ahead and complete your meditation. Well, thank you so much for joining me for day 12 of 21 days of presence. I can feel it really paying off, this work that we're doing, just creating a field of peace and, commanding and demanding our earth, our way. And it's very, very beautiful and peaceful and loving and hopeful. So keep that in your heart and know that that's what you're here for. You have a beautiful gift to give in the presence that you're able to maintain for your soul group and for the people around you that really need you right now, even though they might not know it. So have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you for day 13 tomorrow. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.